to the Rock Review. So, huge screen that shouldn't be there. So we'll just, for those that are watching on, we go, let's pop him down there. Doop. There we go. So today's game that we're going to review literally only came to Stadia yesterday, and that was the Strange Brigade. Now, just a little reminder to people, the way that the Rock Review works, different to anybody else's review, we're not reviewing the game on its technical merits, on its visual merits, on how long it took to build, or whether it plays homage to a well-honed genre. A little bit of French in there for you folks. Now, what we're looking at is this game any good for casual gamers and busy people like us? So we're going to have a quick look at this title, which is actually a video that there we go, because Duncan and Kelly did some streaming of this yesterday. Was it, Dunk? It must have been, because it didn't launch before then, did it?
It was yesterday, and it should be a 4K stream, shockingly enough.
Wow, so that was
Yes.
that's very impressive on a technical front. So we're going to start with we do five aspects when we're reviewing a game. First one is it quick to load, which seems a bit of a funny thing to ask. It's Stadia, isn't it? Instant? Well, it depends on the game. Can you pick up from where you left off? So if you have to shoot off, take a phone call, go to school, just do life stuff, can you go back and start from where you left off the last time? Is it easy to play? Nobody wants to spend, I don't want to spend 6 months learning how to play a game, not unless it's the only game I'm ever likely to play. So is it quick to kind of pick it up and just get on with it? Is it rewarding? By that, I mean, if I'm playing it, do I kind of get a sense of achievement? Do I think, I achieved that. It didn't take me too much effort. And finally, is it good value? Which is an important question, because even though some of these, not all, that we review are pro games that you can claim, they're also for sale for people that don't have a pro account. So it's important that we look at that as well. So, starting with the first one, Duncan, how quickly can you get into the game from the library?
It's what I would call a standard Stadia game. You can just go in, load it up, and away you go. There's not much you can actually do there. It's just load it up, away you go. You're straight into the game. The only bit where there might be a bit of a hold up is if you want to go for a multiplayer lobby and you want to play with friends or trying to get a group to go, because this is another co-op game, as we say, Stadia loves its co-op games. So that might be the only delay you would have on it. So for me, it's a 4.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the key thing is that there are some choices.
Sorry, it was a 5 from me. It was a 5 from me.
It was a 5 from you. Yeah, I think it was a 5 from me as well. I haven't got it in front, so you're going to have to help me on this. But the key thing is that although there are some choice screens and stuff, once you've played it a couple of times, you just go because you know that, I want to continue with all that stuff. So it's not like some games on Stadia where you get 2 minutes and you get a screen where you then choose whether you want to continue playing, and then there's another 2 minutes where you actually get the game loading. This fairly standard for Rebellion, who developed this game. They're behind the Sniper Elite series, the Zombie Dawn of the Dead series, and so on, that you can also find on Stadia. So we both gave that high marks. I think we gave that an equal 5, did we, Duncan, that one?
Yep, we both gave that 5. I've got the scores here, so don't worry. I will try and not get it wrong.
Thank you very much. So, people, you can't see this. I've got 3 monitors. They are absolutely crammed with stuff that I use for the show, so I have no room for my notes today. Can you pick up from where you left off?
Yes, it does, like a checkpoint system, but it's if you go and die, or if you have to go out there and you have to put the game down, it will load from your last checkpoint.
Yeah.
So it's not completely where you left off, but it's more this where you left off.
It's close, isn't it?
Yeah,
And again, I think most titles that have a kind of co-op or multiplayer aspect, you can fairly much guarantee that won't be the case. Little tip here, little pro tip, folks. There's puzzles in this game, and I know some people have struggled. They're actually, once you know them, like all things in life, you go, oh, that's so simple. And once you've learned a couple of the mechanics of those puzzles, you'll find through the game they're quite easy to do. But the first one, I think it's the first one, maybe also the second one. If you fail, and you'll know you failed because nothing happens, you can't go through the door. I won't give too much away. At that point, if you exit the game and go back in, you can keep doing it until you get it right. So a little tip there, you could start from the same point and just get it until you get it right. It's worth it. You go through and you get some rewards and stuff. But none of those puzzles demand that you complete them to move on. Or the ones that do are the simplest of all. So just bear that in mind. Don't let that frustrate you too much. So that's that one. That kind of touches on my next point as well. How easy was it to play for you, Duncan?
Yeah, I'll just give the scores for both of us. Gave that a 4 for that one, the last
4
one.
for the last one, yeah.
How is it easy to play? This is where me and you are actually going to be differing for, I think, a fair bit. I think the game, for me, is relatively easy to play. As we're looking from the broader audience for casual gamers, I think it's actually slightly more difficult. There's puzzles in it, and sometimes where you're meant to go isn't entirely clear. So for me, again, the way we review these games is from the casual sort of market. So I'm just putting this caveat there. I'm really enjoying the game. So I'm giving it a 3 on the basis on how easy it is to play from the casual sort of market, because there's puzzles in it and sometimes things aren't abundantly clear on what you need to do.
Yeah, and again, thank you for that, Duncan. Something I keep forgetting to remind everybody is that we both have 2 different scores, because I'm coming at it from someone who is a pro subscriber, someone that's actually paying monthly, claimed it for free, and Duncan is representing people that don't have the pro subscription but do have Stadia and therefore have to buy the game. So there is a slightly different you'd have a slightly different attitude to it if you were a casual gamer and you paid for it, as opposed to someone who got it for free, I guess is what we're saying. I take on board what you said. I know we spoke about this morning, and your concern was that some of the puzzles might be frustrating, particularly if you don't have a huge amount of time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I solved them all straight away. I did, as I've just hinted, have to leave the game and come back a few times to reset them. But I think, they do add to the overall fun, and I'd say that they're no harder than the puzzles in, say, Lara Croft, or any of the Lara Croft games, for example, which are obviously intrinsic to progress, and great games to play. So I can totally understand why that might be frustrating for some people, and they might say, I couldn't get on with the game because of the puzzles. But I think, stick to it. Go and look on YouTube. And this game's been out for so long. There's going to be walkthroughs all over the shop, or send a message out on Twitter, or even leave us a comment here if you've got any issues like that. We'd love to hear from you anyway, and maybe we can point you in the right direction. But in terms of ease of play, you pick up guns and you shoot stuff. You solve the odd puzzle and you move on. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. Uses all the standard key combinations or controller combinations. I found it fairly easy to play, to be honest with you. So what score did we give it for ease of play?
I gave it a 3. You gave it a 5.
I went for a half 5. I might have been a little bit overzealous there. Maybe in hindsight, I should have gone with a 4, but I'll stick with my 5. 4, is it rewarding? I've lost my mouse. There it is. Is it rewarding? Is it rewarding, Duncan?
Yep, I enjoy it, but you when you get past the section or you kill all the big not zombies, it's not zombies, it's mummies and all the different creatures. I really am enjoying it, and I think it is really rewarding because you actually feel, yes, I did it, and it is a really rewarding game for me. It's you spend the time with it and you do get the most out from it. For me, it is totally rewarding.
Yeah, and there's loads of collectibles, stuff that doesn't necessarily add to the progression, but you can just, rummage around afterwards, go back and do stuff. Excuse me. which it always makes it fun anyway. I know there are lots of completionists is the term, people that love to go in and not leave a level until they've found the last tiny thing that's been hidden away. So stuff like that there. You can upgrade your guns. You can find new guns. You can try a whole bunch of guns out from the start. If you find that one wasn't quite to your play style, you can go to the little gun box at the beginning of each level and upgrade and so on. So yeah, I think it's hugely rewarding. It's lots of stuff, lots of loot caches and coins flying all over the place. It's got all the right mechanics for rewarding. So I suspect I gave that a 5. Did I? Yeah.
You did.
How many? And you gave it a.
Oh no, sorry, you didn't give. You gave it a 5. I gave it a 4.
And you gave it a 4. Excuse my coughing. And next, value for money. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. As I always say, when it comes to these claimable pro games, it's excellent value for money because I didn't pay for it. But you've got a different viewpoint on this one, haven't you?
Yeah, and your one's nice and easy. For this one, I have to sit and justify my one now. You can just say, yes, it's nice, it's free, it's on pro. I get the hard one to do. Yeah, I gave this a 2 to start off with. And Mark obviously gave his a 5 because it's nice and easy. I gave this a 2 because this is a full price game. So I've just seen the deluxe edition of Strange Brigade is £65. So the full price.
That's an ouch, isn't it? It's a massive ouch. That's probably the highest price game right now on Stadia, isn't it?
It's up there, but this is with all this is with the season pass and everything. So the game is going to be like £40 or £50.
Okay.
It's going to be a full price game.
Yeah.
So it would be at this moment in time, it would be really hard to justify that money for the game. I even know how much I love it because it's on Pro. You can pick it up for £9 on Pro or $10 on Pro. It's better doing it that way than buying it from this. That's why I'm giving it.
I totally sympathize. It isn't a new game. It's been around for a few years, and it is an excellent game. There's no question of that. And we're going to end up giving it high marks because, quite frankly, it's a great addition to Stadia. But I just feel it's a little high priced for how old it is. So if you're not a Pro subscriber, you might want to wait for it to undoubtedly be in a future sale. What's actually in the seasons, and is that included in the Pro game?
No, the Pro does not get this.
Okay.
What's in it is there is character packs. There is also expansions to the game. The Thrice Stand, it's called, part 1, 2, and 3. So that's like you've completed the game and you want some more Strange Brigade, you go on to that, and you can have some more fun with it. So Zombie Army's also got a load of DLC. They like Brickhead not of it. So if you're big into Rebellion games and the next one comes on the Stadia, their next new one, it will be worth probably buying it, the Super Duper edition, because of all that other stuff you get.
Gotcha. So in reality, the game version that we have is the base version, which is around £40. Yeah. So about $45, give or take. And then we all pay for the extra stuff if we want it. And it's tempting. It's a darn good game. So that puts...
and the season pass is £30.
Gotcha. And I don't know how that compares to any other platform. So, it may very well be similarly priced elsewhere. But purely on that basis alone, value for money, I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 2.
And you gave it a 2. So that gives our overall Rock Review score for Strange Brigade 24 out of 25 for me on the old Pro Stadia account. And on the standard account from Duncan, an 18 out of 25. Both very respectable numbers. And that makes it an absolute pickup for... Sorry, Duncan?
I was just going to say, the biggest difference for me and you was the value for money. That's where it lost most of the score for me. I thoroughly recommend this game. This game is brilliant. It is a load of fun. It could become another zombie army for me, where we're just going to play that all the time, just as a complete chill out sort of game. It's when we're doing these scores, we separate ourselves out and look through different eyes. So if I was given my personal score, I would be up there at 24 from 25 sort of range, but looking through it from the actual standard user who has to buy it, that's why the score has been lowered to be a bit subjective.
Sorry, Duncan, Dazadini in the chat, Dazboon, is saying that it was £40 when it was first released a few years ago. So yeah, that's a little bit of profiteering, I suspect. And Kelly has asked, can we buy the season pack separately? Which of course we can. I've lost my mouse. There it is. So yeah, we can, both pro and non-pro subscribers can buy the season pack separately and add that in to your version of the game. So that's excellent. And another thing that I love about this game is the characterizations, and the chap that does the commentary in the background reminds me of the fella that does Come Dine With Me. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I love the way they're talking in the background. It's like from a 1930s sort of movie. Yeah. It's just completely take the pee. It's just it's brilliant. It adds so much to the game. It's so much character in that game. I really hope there's another one coming out.
When did it come out originally, Duncan? I keep saying it's been out for a few years, but I'm not.
It's actually not as old as you think. It's only out in 1990 or 1998.
1980. It's as old as you think.
My head's mangled.
2018.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a couple of years old.
So it's not actually old. It's not. No. It's not like it's like a beginning of last gen. It's actually just 2 years old, so it is still relatively a new game.
Yep, no, that's fair, and I think that with a couple of exceptions, even most of the older games on Stadia are only really a couple of years old in any case, aren't they? And they do tend to have added features. Interestingly enough, I didn't see any additional features yet in this game. Do you think there's scope to pop in there crowd play, for example?
Crowd play, easy enough, or not easy enough. It's maybe the wrong thing. Crowd play would be a good win for them in this. Also, what would be good as well would be I always get the terminology wrong. It's the screen play. What's it called?
Screen share.
Screen share will go for where you can actually see.
I get confused as well.
Stream Connect, that's what it is. Stream Connect. It came to me eventually. Stream Connect, where you can actually see your other team members what they're doing. That becomes handy if people are struggling and they're surrounded by mummies. You need to know whereabouts they are. There's a load of these games which could benefit from this going forward, but the crowd play one, brilliant one for this one. Any multiplayer game, I think crowd play is going to be baked in there somehow just to get it going.
Nakanu thinks you maybe were a tad harsh with your value for 2, Duncan, given that it's same price as it was when it was released.
Yeah, it's maybe a tad harsh, but I think it's like and this is the thing. It's really hard for me to justify the lower scores because if it was on pro,
no, I know this isn't, folks. This isn't necessarily Duncan's personal opinion. We're trying to review these based on our notional concept of casual gamers who pay or don't pay for a pro sub, and obviously, if you get it free as part of the pro, it's always going to be great value. If you've got to pay full price for it, then it's never going to be great value. It's not a deal, is it? If you're paying exactly the same price as when the game came out 2 years ago, if it was half price, if it was 50% of its original price, then you wouldn't be able to say it wasn't good value. But it wasn't.
If the game came out at £30, £25, it would be up there as a 4 or 5, but it's coming out basically as a full price title now, and it's in competition with it being a pro deal as well. So it's hard to say, this game is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
It's just with the Pro deal, it being a slightly older game, there's just so many things about it. If it came onto the service straight away as a Pro deal as well, yeah, there's just so many variables. It is really hard to actually do the value one. For me, if you're looking for like a value one, which is a 5 out of 5, it'll be like a long-term game which you know you're going to play for years to come. Like a Destiny.
If it was $10, 5 out of 5 is free. 4 it's maybe 25% of its original value. If it had been more expensive than when it went on, then it would be a 1. So we kind of have to assess it based on where it sits in taking how old it is versus how much they're charging for it on Stadia.
Oh, he didn't think it was harsh enough. If he thought it, or he. Sorry, I'm just assuming there.
Did he? Did I read it wrong? He thought it should have been a 1. Did he?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think no. It's definitely not a 1 because the game's a good game. It's just too high of a price at the moment.
Yeah, and we only we do only give 5 points. So if you think about the ratio, it's 2 is like. If we had them out of 100, we'd be saying, "Oh, it's 20 out of 100 or something." So it's a different thing than that. But anyway, that's good. I'm happy with that. 18 out of 25, 24 out of 25. It is nonetheless a recommendation for casual gamers, busy people new to Stadia. Definitely pick this one up. If you are excited by the look of the game, and you should be because it is a great game, then I think it's probably worth paying the money for. But if money's a little tight, as it is for most of us, then maybe sit back a couple of weeks. I'm absolutely convinced that this will show up as a Stadia deal in the coming weeks. So excellent. Thank you for that, Duncan. Let's move quickly on. Where are we time-wise? We're heading past the hour, so let's have a quick look